Hi everybody, Meteorologist David Paul with you here for your tropical update. This is Monday evening and it's still a 10 to 20% chance that something of a tropical nature tries to form off the middle or lower Texas coast as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. What we've got is a little trough here south of Louisiana. It will move into an area where it's going to interact with the tail end of a front, and there's a decent chance of getting some sort of circulation to develop here. Just while we're here, all of the red here, those are the big thunderstorms we've had across Houston and then west of Houston out to Austin and San Antonio on this Monday evening. That is putting a dent in the drought in some spots, and this is day one of these rains from the front and potentially from this tropical system. I think we've got several more to go, even on into the weekend where we may see rain across portions of Texas. As we look at the infrared satellite this evening, there's not much going on out here right now, no deep convection, but what we do see are these streamlines, and see how they're bent a little bit. There's a little bit of a trough here, a little bit of a surface trough, a bend in the winds here. That trough axis is right there south of New Orleans, Louisiana. That is what eventually is going to drift to the west over the next 24 hours. And once it gets into this position here, it may try to cut off into an actual closed low. You can see the difference here. Open wave, where it's open here at the base of it. And then this is a low pressure center, a closed low where all those isobars close off. So that's what we're looking for, the potential. And the American model, the GFS, consistently for the past 3, 4, 5 days has closed off a low, and it's still doing it here. This is the 18Z run, the afternoon run of the GFS, and it forecasts that by Tuesday morning we're going to begin to see winds begin to circulate 360 degrees, close off a low, and at that point we would at least have a tropical low, maybe not a depression or a tropical storm, but just a tropical low, and that's when things could begin to intensify. It depends on how much energy it can tap into. There's also some dry air coming in from the north that's going to sort of inhibit its strengthening. So it's going to be a battle between the warm waters of the Gulf, which are way above normal. They're running about 88, 89, 90 degrees out here, and the dry air coming in from the north. GFS does close off this low. It puts it here south of Brownsville as we head into Wednesday afternoon. Models still don't turn it into anything of any great significance. Most of them don't even make it into a tropical depression or tropical storm, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Regardless, what this is going to do is put Corpus to Houston on the wet, the dirty side of that rotation, and so this will pump moisture in. I think especially the coastal counties get quite a bit of scattered shower activity going into Tuesday and Wednesday as that low begins to evolve and develop. And then notice the track of this. Now it's going to move in, and as it moves in, what there is of this weak low pressure will weaken. And in fact, instead of a closed low going into Friday, it's back to being the open wave. But that's okay, because Houston and southeast Texas is still on the dirty side. I say it's okay because we need the rain from this thing, and that would continue to pump the rain into southeast Texas from Matagorda and Victoria up to Houston. That's Friday midnight, so Thursday night, Friday could be a rainy night for Houston and southeast Texas. We go into Friday evening. The low continues to decay, moves to our northwest, but look, we're still on the dirty side of that with a chance for rain going into Friday and Saturday. So it looks most likely that we're going to have some sort of very weak tropical low form out here and then make that move, but keep Houston on the wet side. And the result is potentially a whole lot of rain. This, at the moment, would all be beneficial rain. We could take 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain, especially spread out over several days. That would not cause any flooding concerns since we've been so dry, but man, it would help the drought conditions. And you can see here, you get into the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and you start getting into this range here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches of rain in many parts of southeast Texas. It will depend exactly on the little track of that low. Further west, you get further west rain totals, further east, you have the rain totals further east, but regardless, it's looking more likely that this is going to be a beneficial rain event over the next 4 or 5 days for Houston, southeast Texas, and maybe not something big and bad to worry about tropical-wise. But look, those sea surface temperatures out here are running 88 to 90 degrees. Models are not perfect. There have been situations and times when little systems like that have formed, and then they've suddenly tapped into all that energy and something is spun up very quickly. So it's why we're paying close attention to it, even though it's just a 10 to 20% chance for development here. If that 20% chance were to verify, then we'd have a tropical system sitting right there on our front door. That's not the only tropical thing going on this evening. We've got a couple of spots out here. There's another area of disturbed weather here. That has a 20% chance for development as it moves west-northwest toward the islands of the Lesser Antilles. And then this is now potential tropical cyclone number 2. It was just an invest yesterday. Now PTC number 2. That's because the Hurricane Center thinks, yeah, this has a decent chance of developing, and it's going to be skirting very close to the northern coast of Venezuela and the southern islands of the entrance to the Caribbean Sea. You can see on infrared satellite, it's still rather disorganized. There's a little bit of a twist to the wind out here, but it's not overly organized. Again, not even a depression yet, not a closed low yet, but it looks likely that it might become that. And because of its proximity to land and people, they've gone ahead and made it a PTC so they can put this out, the forecast cone. And for this one, it does take it through TNT going into Wednesday, 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm, maybe, and then maybe becoming a Cat 1 here in the southern Caribbean before making landfall, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, somewhere in here as we head into this coming weekend. That would be Saturday. And on a track like that, it would dissipate over the mountains of Central America. This would be no threat to Mexico. It would be no threat to the continental United States. That's where we stand tropical-wise right now. Again, what that system in the Gulf would mean for us is that I think we've got a 30% chance for scattered showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and then for Houston, Southeast Texas, rain chances ramp up Thursday, Friday, and I may need to raise that rain chance on Saturday as well. It just depends on the exact eventual track and intensity of that little low that tries to form in the Gulf of Mexico. All right, that's where we stand on this Monday evening. Your tropical update, live update on the TV side at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then.